a great introductory player for the media enthusiast. Micca Speck, TWO10 I-Type full digital media player for USB drives and SDHC cards, digital signage H. The aforementioned item is sold by Micca. Make sure this fits by entering your model number. Make your television smarter. Enhance any television with the ability to play videos, music, and photo slideshows from a USB drive or SD card. It's so simple and intuitive, anyone can use it. The Micca Speck TWO is amazingly compact and affordable. Get one for each television in the house. 10 I-Type full HDMI works with TWO's old and new. High-definition 10 I-Type HDMI output for sending sharp and clear video and audio in pure digital format, compatible with 10 I-Type's projectors and monitor displays. Composite AV output for use with analog AV cable included. Reads USB drives and SD cards, supports USB flash drives and USB hard drives up to TWOP, requires MB or partition table and FAT32 or NTFS file systems. Supports SD memory cards up to 30 TWOG. Simple digital signage auto playback and resume can be configured for automatic video playback with endless repeat and looping, and the ability to resume from the last stopping point. Great for digital signage applications. Video format support MKV, AV, TSTP, Form 4 file size limit, MOV, VOB, and TWOTS files encoded with H.264 of cone and PEGON 124 up to 1920 temps. Note, formats not listed here such as H.265 HEV, 4.2 out of 5 stars. The aforementioned item has a total of 6,917 reviews. Product linked in the description below. The first review is from Richard Vidal, a great introductory player for the media enthusiast. 5.0 out of 5 stars. The Micca Speck is the newest in Micca's line of low-end, inexpensive media players designed for local use without a network. It is a very good player, but like most of Micca's products, a few features needed to really satisfy me are missing. In short, if the bulk of your content hails from the last few years, and you want a media player with good features, a reasonably convenient remote, then get this player. I rarely watch offline media anymore, but when I do, I don't want to be kept busy managing my content. It's easiest on a but a media player with a random function is almost as good as a randomized playlist. This player does its job well enough. This was not available in the Play HD. There is a newer firmware for the device, but no file detailing changes. This could just be something they threw in and not a sign of things to come. 4. A good OSD. I don't care about artwork. The spec features a functional file list, so no complaints. That is all I need. It is inexpensive and worth the price. However, when I have guests, a quick preview is great. The MPLAY HD has a pretty good one. So far, I have not been able to find anything as good as VLC running a random playlist. Until the day when media players have 30 forks playback with audio playlist and random playback plus accelerated streaming playback of online content. Even so, they are leaps and bounds over what was available until recent years. The chipset of the spec is not advertised, but it is likely pre-1055. All Micca players use the Realtek chipset. Also, chipsets of the same generation generally perform very similar. Get this product if it looks like it will need your basic needs. Otherwise, I would recommend them Play HD. I paid about $5 less than the current listing as of this date, but what you get is much better than anything that was available last year for a little more cost. Their other players with the 1185 chipset are basically like 1055s with online capability and extra memory. The 1186 chipset mainly adds thread support. Playback compatibility 1 will feature minimum improvements at best due to the increased memory, but almost everything will work exactly the same as older products. At the original time of purchase, online functions were too buggy to satisfy, so I recommend either this product or the Play HD as the best bang for your buck. Then again, if you use Netflix or Hulu, you might want to reconsider. I personally would just buy a different player for each purpose, say the Roku. I am not fond of the Sigma chipset, since it omits some important file formats, but the average user is unlikely to be affected. Consider trying out the WDTV or similar products if that meets your needs. I, however, will continue to hover around Realtek-based products until something better comes along. Hope this helps someone make an educated purchase decision. This is all you need to know from this review. Specifics are generally lacking from these reviews, which makes it harder to know what you're getting. For those who are a bit more particular about their needs, I will elaborate on the strengths and weaknesses of this player below, as well as the result of some of my tests on actual media, which you may find useful. As stated, my main reason for buying this player was the addition of the random playback function. This feature may or may not be available on the other Micca players, depending on whether the feature has been added to the latest firmware release. Since most of my content is old, the random playback is great for revisiting old content when you are not on a viewing schedule, or you want to entertain young kids and they're not sure what they want to see. The downside I am disappointed is that the feature can only be applied to files in the same subdirectory. They are rarely mentioned in reviews and are probably not important to the general public, but they are important to me when deciding to buy a player, so I will mention them below. You can't start playing at the root and have it bounce all over the place. This might be great for those who keep secret videos, but I have everything organized by genre. The file system is great in that it shows the entire file name and scrolls if the file name is too long. I had a few files that did not work. One set of files Avi gave cannot play file errors. I am not sure of their codec. Media encoded with OGG generally had problems switching audio streams, with loud clicks and snaps at worst, or a freeze at best. Sometimes it worked great, sometimes it didn't. I had one file the player recognized as being encoded at Xerox, but it worked fine. My guess is variable, but straight OGG audio will not work well in a movie. OGG is an old format that was around before Micca Speck became the popular container. To start off, the Micca Speck is an excellent introductory media player with a small footprint and excellent features, and will probably play anything you throw at it that has been encoded using any of the recent standards. It was generally used in OGG files, which was great because it allowed multiple streams pre-mic. I have not bothered to re-encode these files and probably will not do so. But if you have old files with OGG or DIPX3, 1 or anything like that, by now some of these files may have trouble even playing on your properly. If your collection is old, and you are not a Netflix junkie, then you may want to go with another player, which will likely still give some problems on some of those files. Even Vulk does not support some of these older codecs anymore. But I digress. Only one of the files I tested was overwhelming to the player, but considering only my higher-end desktop can play it without slowdown, this is not a strike against the player. I tested a few files, even with quad audio rare, and as long as the audio was ACK3 or I. It does jump back to the previous keyframe when you switch, so you might end up rewatching the last few seconds of a scene. Neither a plus or minus, it might be interesting to compare what's said in each stream. Encode in XVID DIX or 264 with ACK or ACK3 audio, and you should never have any problems so long as the encoding standards are reasonable. I always encode all available streams even if I don't know the language. The player automatically adjusts to me by default if you have it connected, and you can switch between and me via the remote easily. Older models required you to make the switch half blind. It wasn't difficult, but for the non-techie it could have posed a challenge. You can enable autoplay for movies, photos, or music. I don't personally use this feature as you may have problems if there is a lot of content to scan, or if some of your files are corrupted, as even the higher-end player sometimes freezes because of it. Still, if your media is in good condition, you can enable this feature. The manual states that it plays objects in the root directory. I have not tested this, but you should be able to set up a picture slideshow music or movie playback to start automatically upon powering on. Combining it with the random feature adds some flexibility. Subtitle support is decent and will work in all cases where the file and the subtitle are separate. This player features support for Micca, and although it does not mention it as well, which means you can watch those YouTube videos you've downloaded via your browser. It improves on the Micca Play, which does not support all these formats and has problems playing them back on some occasions even when it does, such as RUMV. This player is nearly on par with the mid-end MPLAY HD, which I would recommend over this player, but it may be missing the random function and has its quirks as well, as do most media players. The spec will not list OGM files at all. Unless you have been encoding for a while and have not converted or re-encoded your media, this is very unlikely to affect the vast majority of users. If you use Handbrake or a similar tool, it will likely convert to FORV or MECF and use either ACK3 or ACK audio, none of which ever gave any problems with the files tested. Subtitles, in some cases, subtitles did not show, probably related to the encoding process. Both sets of files with this error had ACK audio. Quite possibly, the subtitle embedding method may be related to the issue. Curiously, I had some old Avis with an experimental method of embedding subtitles and they worked no problem. Its US port is sufficient even for USB 3. Speed seeking, one thing that may worry the new customer. It can take up to 15 seconds to start up. It does not feature a quick splash screen while you wait. The first thing you will see is the main menu after a wait. Not a big deal, but it did cause me to doubt whether it was working or whether something was not properly connected. It plays at 1x speed with audio only, which is not surprising. It is probably better to forward at 2x than 1.5x since the keyframes do not seem to update when you seek at the latter. To resume playback, there is a little button for pausing playing. Though hard to find, it is an improvement over the older system which required you to quickly scroll your way back to 1x speed. 0 drives and it has excellent error recovery. The go-to function works well enough. Only had one file where it didn't work, again due to encoding standards. One feature which is lacking is that there is no faster way to scroll through content other than the down or up button. Other players let you page through the content with the next and previous buttons, but this feature is not included in the spec. Still not too bad. The remote control is pretty good. Not as good as the higher-end models, but definitely an improvement. You can switch display types, switch streams, change repeat method, and perform other actions without ever needing to go to the setup screen or access the OSD. Pressing OK while playing gives codec and encoding info sometimes wrong, and the exit button allows you to cancel or go to the previous screen. I have bought several Micca players over the last year and have been satisfied with all of them. After a freeze, it will generally reboot to the main menu after 10-20 seconds. The higher-end models aren't powerful enough to justify the added expense, and the lower-end ones are too simple. I would recommend this as an introductory player for someone who doesn't need any bells or whistles, and who has access to a significant amount of local content. This will play what your netbook may not. It will not, however, rival an hack, or even the playback functions available through free players on Europe, such as the LCGOM player or the player. The most important features for me are: 1. File compatibility. I keep a lot of media in a lot of different formats. Compatibility for this player is very good, but compatibility for the Play HD is even better. 2. Playback with audio at 1.5 or 2.5 or 2x. It features a random playback feature that was missing from other players I have tested, and the main reason I bought this player. Unless I have guests, I do all personal viewing at above 2x if possible, even on YouTube. I use a combination of free and paid software. This does not play at anything other than 1x with sound. The Play HD does play most content at 1x with sound, has trouble with 2 variable bitrate streams on occasion, so it gets the vote for this feature. 3 random function. Kind of important. From the manufacturer, Micca Audio-Video products focus on delivering unbeatable value, with each product engineered to offer the most performance at a price point. Warranty: HDMI and AV outputs, 10i type HDMI output, analog AV cable included. Reads USB and SD cards, supports USB flash drives and USB hard drives up to 2. Requires MBR partition table and FAT32 or NTFS file systems. Auto playback and resume can be configured for automatic video playback with endless repeat and looping and ability to resume from stopping point. Great for simple digital signage applications. What's included? Micca Speck 2 remote control, analog, AV cable, 100,240 AC adapter, user's manual, AV compatibility, audio output PCM2, 0 analog stereo, video and audio format support specifications, video file support, MKV, AVI, TSTP, Form 4, FORB file size limit, MOV, VOB, and TWATS files encoded with H. It has an HDMI output for sending sharp and clear digital video to HEPs, as well as composite AV output for use with analogs. 264 of cone and Pagon 124 up to 1920 and 80 temps. Note: formats not listed here such as H. 265 HEP. Audio format support, MP3, OGG, FLAC, APE. Photo format support, JPG, JPG, BMP, GIF, PNG. Subtitle format support, SRT, SUBIDX, internal only. Languages: English, Chinese, Korean, Spanish, French, German. Risk-free home trial, satisfaction guaranteed. Discover how simple it is to add video playback capability to your television by trying a Micca Speck. Our technical support team is available to assist with any questions you may have. If you are not absolutely delighted with the Micca Speck 2, simply return it for a refund. Its compact and ultra-portable design fits anywhere you want it to. Micca Speck 2 digital media player. Small and sleek, the Micca Speck 2 is a perfect entertainment source for vacations and business trips. Its aluminum exterior is tough enough to withstand the rigors of portable use. With an optional car power adapter, the Micca Speck 2 can be used to play movies on in-car video system and keep everyone entertained on road trips. Simple and easy to use, no complicated setup, friendly technical support standing by. Just in case, make your television smarter. Enhance any television with the ability to play videos, music, and photo slideshows. The Micca Speck 2 is amazingly compact, affordable, and simple to use. Get one for each television in the house. Product linked in the description below. Our first question is from Foodie. Can this device read subtitles archives? English subtitles are displaying too low on the screen that they are unreadable. Don't see a way to adjust the text positioning. Adjusting the picture size has no effect either. Quite frustrating. Product linked in the description below. For more content like this, please subscribe and click the bell icon so you are notified of new uploads. We upload new videos every day. See you next time.